Hello and welcome back to 3D Drawing for Model Railway. In today's lesson we're going to start to look at getting this gearbox, I think it is drawn on the side here. It's going to be quite an interesting little object to draw because it's shaped weirdly. It looks a bit rectangular in shape until you get close up. This bit here, that's a corner cut off, so this whole face is at an angle. And then you've got another face here that's at a separate angle as well. So we're going to have two interesting cuts to do here. So we'll give it a little go. We've also got this plate that goes around the middle here and the supporting plates underneath. So we'll start by jumping across into Fusion. Okay, let's make sure we've got this radio button check for the crane body because that's what we're working on. So the rectangle is going to go in this sort of area here just before the drive wheel here. So if we look at its position, it's going to be a plane angle coming across here. It's going to be the same angle as the what looks like the drive shaft coming across here from the engine. So that's slightly off the tangent line of this coming off the circle. So there's a slight angle there that we're going to have to create. So what we'll do is we'll start by constructing a plane at an angle from the bottom edge here. Let's try again. Plane at an angle from that edge there. You see the plane's flat there. Okay, we'll start looking at changing that angle. Okay, that's going the wrong way. So let's try plane at an angle and we'll go from where do we want to pick from? Possibly that face there, yes. Yeah. So we're getting that this angle here. So it's slightly off from this one. So is it up or down? So it needs to be more shallow than that. Okay. So it's got about 10-degree angle there, and then we need to create an offset plane from that, bringing it up to the position we need. So that rectangle is going to be slightly below the drive pulley here. Let's go 8.2. There we go. Okay, and then if we create a sketch on there, initially what we'll do is we'll just create a rectangle shape, sort of that size, and we need to constrain it. It won't snap to that corner. Okay, how do we get to that position then? So we might just have to define that's defining that. See what it'll snap to. No, don't want that one. Define distance. That face. No. Right, snap to the corner here for me. There. Okay. Okay, so there we're getting distance there. Go 3.2. And let's go for 4mm. See if that moves that across. No, do want 4mm. We'll do 0.4mm. Okay, that's not enough. We need to come in more. 0.6mm. Okay, so that looks like it's intersecting that face there. Will be good. Okay, and we'll extrude this So you see how complex that was just to get that on there and where we wanted it. So we had to create offset plane here, sorry, plane at angle, offset plane, then the rectangle, and then we've had to define the position based to a relative point. Okay, see how it's cutting? That means it's touching that inside face, which is exactly what we want. Yeah, you see it's cutting out there. We want it to join. Okay, now let's look at the height of this. So it's going to go above the tangent position and pretty much above that bearing. So it needs to come up to, yeah, probably that sort of position there. How's the height wise looking? So the bottom needs to be up a little bit, so we can bring that offset plane up a little bit. So if we do that, click on OK, and then we'll come back to the offset plane, edit that, and we'll bring that up to 0.5, and then we'll have to reduce this down by the same position to get the same sort of height. Okay, so how's that look? Okay, that's looking okay actually, I think. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is create a sketch on this face with a diagonal line that comes across like that, and we define angles in here to get it at 45 degrees, and the distance from there to there, that's gone at the wrong angle. Let's undo that. Define again. We need it to be like that. That's it. So it's perpendicular to that line. We're 0.5 millimeters. How's that look? Yep. And then what we can do is extrude this. Let's spin out so we can see. There we go, to the far side. Okay, so what's it left on the corner here? So we need to try and get rid of this face here, so just extrude this again. Just cut it in a little bit. There you go. Okay, it's cut a little bit out there, but we can live with that. It's not gonna be a big deal, that. Okay, so we've got that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is this bottom surface is angled as well. Pretty much looks like it's angled all the way from front to back. So we'll create a sketch on the side. We can capture position. I'm not sure what's moved there, but we'll capture it because it looks okay. Nothing's changed, and we'll create a line like that. Define the height. 0.3. No, not 1.3, 0.3. And then we can extrude that all the way through to the far side. Okay, so that's got upward slope on there now. Okay, the last one we've got is to create an extrusion on the top surface here. So we're going up at an angle here. Okay, so I'm sure there's multiple ways we can achieve this, and it's not a particularly easy thing to do. I'm going to make it look easy though, I think. So initially we're going to start by drawing a line on this front face from that corner across. Now if you look at the picture, that does look like it's pretty much horizontal going across there. So we just created that line, and we're going to use that line, if we finish the sketch, to create a plane at an angle to that line there. And if we rotate it around, you can see I can then angle this upwards to whichever angle I think that looks. Something like that. Click on OK. And then if we create a sketch on that surface and just draw a rectangle bigger than the gearbox, finish that, click on extrude, and we drag upwards, it cuts it away. It's left a little bit here, so we probably need to increase the size of our, yes we do. So if we increase that edge further along, there we can see we cut all the way off, which is exactly what we're after there. So we can now go back in here, turn that sketch off. You see it's still on because the line's still visible there with the dots on the corner. There you go, they're turned off. Scroll all the way up there, minimize that. Okay, so we've got this plane still turned on, we don't need to see that. Okay, so we're starting to get the shape of this gearbox coming along now, that's good. Okay, so the next thing we need is around the middle here, it's got like some sort of bracing or join or seam or something. So we're going to create that. We're going to do offset plane from the top surface because we know that that's going to be perpendicular to the shape that we're looking for. And it probably needs to be sort of in the middle here, so 1.3, about there. And then if we create a sketch on that surface, and we're just looking for, I wonder if a centre point rectangle might work there. In fact, we might, no, we won't be able to do offset. Let's ignore that. Do centre point rectangle in that position. No, that's not going to work. Okay, so just do a normal rectangle. We'll go out wider. And we should be able to find positions, distance from there to that corner. And we're going to give it a 0.2 millimeter all the way around. Doesn't really matter about the back edge, although actually yes, what we'll try and do is let's do horizontal vertical, that edge width, right, constrain that edge, that corner to that corner. Nope. Surprised it won't let me snap horizontal vertical distance in. Could be because it's on a different plane, which isn't normally an issue. Okay, not an issue. What we can try and do then is if we do inspect from that edge to the front edge, we know that's now 1.9 millimeters. If we define that box as 1.9 millimeters, actually it needs to be more than that, it needs to be 2.1 because we've got 0.2 on the front here. That takes it back to that face there. Yep, that should work. So now if we extrude that rectangle up slightly to 0.2, so we've got a bit of thickness to help to join. We've now got that ring going around the outside there. Yep, happy with how that's looking. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is it's got two supporting members that come down here at an angle. So what we'll do for that is we create a sketch on that surface. Create a line from that corner. Spin this round actually. I want to go into that surface there. Define the angle between those 2 points. Let's go 45 degrees. Is that going to be okay? Probably not. Go down to 30. So that's cutting into that wall, which is fine. And then we'll create a line which goes from that point to that point there. we extrude that towards us slightly, get it to join. We've then got that supporting member. Good. Do the same on this side here. So do that line from that corner in. Find the distance or angle, sorry, which was 30 degrees, and then draw a line just to join those up. Extrude that inwards, 0.4, which is what we did on the other side. Let's join. Okay, happy with that. Just make sure that it's not gone all the way through, which it hasn't. Good. So we now got those angles coming down, supporting that back plate. Okay, so the back plate we can now draw on, that's going to be relatively straightforward, because that is, if you look at it, horizontal and vertical to normal geometry. So if we create a sketch onto that surface, this back surface, I'm going to use a 2-point rectangle. Okay, so it's going to be level with that height there, and just make sure we cover what we need. I actually think this corner here, we're going to coincidence to that top line. That needs to be longer, 5mm. Yep. Okay, so I'm happy with how that's looking. Let's define width of 4.2, and then distance 2.25. Okay, and then we'll just select all the back origin placements, extrude this forwards. This dropped that one, I think. It wants the rivets as well. So just making sure we've got everything within that rectangle to create the plate coming forwards. I'm only going to come 0.3mm, and I'll make sure that's a join. Okay. Okay, so that's covered up those rivets, they've disappeared, which if you look on the picture they're not there. We've got the gearbox on here. We will need to put a couple of rivets down each side, but other than that, I think we're looking okay. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll add these rivets onto this back plate here. So again, just using some simple circles, 0.3 in diameter, define its position. So 0.4 up and 0.3 in. And then we'll extrude this forwards, 0.15, and round off the edge with the fillet tool, about 0.15, so we've got a rounded rivet there. And then we can just pattern this feature around. So if we do pattern, select the features, and the direction, we need 2 in that direction, so there's going to be 1 over the other side here. And upwards, I'll go with 3. There's definitely 2, there's probably a 3rd one up there, but we'll go with that. That looks okay there. Okay, so I think we've done a reasonably good job there on adding that object in that gearbox type object. So I think I'm going to keep that, call that it for today's lesson. And we'll come back on the next episode and we'll look to draw what I assume is the drive shaft that goes between engine compartment and this gearbox up here. So I hope you enjoyed watching today's lesson. If you've got any questions about it, please obviously feel free to leave a comment below. And make sure you like and subscribe to be notified every time a new episode is released. Thanks for watching.